All right, so today we're going to be talking about lesson 1.5 on the angle addition postulate. Again, these notes are going to be short and sweet, I promise. So first we're going to start with the angle addition postulate. So the angle addition postulate says this: if K is in the interior of angle HIJ, then the measure of angle HIK plus the measure of angle KIJ is equal to the measure of angle HIJ. If the measure of angle HIK plus the measure of angle KIJ equals the measure of angle HIJ, then K is on the interior of angle HIJ. All right, everybody got that? Just kidding. Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about what that says. So the angle addition postulate is just like the segment addition postulate. So let me explain it in words that should be pretty simple. Let's call angle HIK angle 1. Angle HIK, call it angle 1, and we'll call angle KIJ angle 2. Okay, so all the angle addition postulate says is that angle 1 plus angle 2 is equal to the whole thing. So we'll call the whole thing angle 3. It's equal to angle 3. That's it. That's all it says. Part plus part equals the whole thing. Okay, so let's just jump into an example of that. So here's your first example. If the measure of angle AOC is 70 degrees, so I know angle AOC. So that's the whole angle is 70 degrees. And we know the measure of angle AOB is 1/2 times 2x plus 20. So that's angle AOB. Again, I'm going to go ahead and distribute that 1/2. Excuse me. So I don't have to deal with the fraction. So I'm going to write that plus 20 up here. Make it all on the same line. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute. 1/2 times 2x is just x. 1/2 times 20 is 10. So we've got x plus 10. So angle AOB is x plus 10. We also know the measure of angle BOC is equal to x. BOC equals x. All right, so this goes back to what I've been saying for the past 4 videos. You have to look at your picture and decide what you know. So we're going to make an equation, and you've got to figure out what the equation needs to look like. So in this one, I've given you both parts. I'm giving you the whole thing. So we're going to add the 2 parts together equals the whole thing. So here's my equation. X plus 10 plus x, part plus part, equals the whole thing. So x plus x gives me 2x plus 10 equals 70. I'm going to subtract the 10 over on both sides and divide by 2. So x equals 30. All right. I like this flip book because it clearly lays out what we're looking for. Next, it wants us to find the measure of angle BOC. So angle BOC is just equal to x. So if x is 30, angle BOC is 30 degrees. Notice when I write this one, I'm going to write 30 degrees because it's asking for the measure of an angle. Whereas up here, I just wrote x because x is just a number, but the angle is measured in degrees. Okay, and then we also need to find AOB. So measure of angle AOB is x plus 10. So that would be 30 plus 10. So that's 40 degrees. Okay, that's all you need to know about the angle addition postulate. Part plus part equals the whole thing. Okay, all right. Angle bisector. An angle bisector is just a special version of the angle addition postulate. And so it says that a ray that divides an angle into 2 congruent angles. That's an angle bisector. So for example, if XZ is an angle bisector, so XZ, here's my ray. It divides this angle into 2 congruent angles. So here's what it says. If XZ is an angle bisector of the whole angle, name the 2 congruent angles that it forms. So if this ray is cutting it into 2 congruent angles, that means these are my congruent angles. Side note, these little marks right here signify that those angles are congruent. Okay, so we talked about, let's draw this off to the side. When we were talking about congruent the other day, we said Like if I had this and I put those tick marks through it, that's me telling you those two sides are congruent. So with an angle, you can't do those marks, but we just do these little semicircle type things, quarter circles. So there they are, telling you those are equal. So the question says to name the two congruent angles. So here's one of them, WXZ. And here's another one, ZXY. Angle ZXY. All right, I just have one example for you on an angle bisector. So here goes. FG bisects angle EFH. I'm going to stop reading right there. So you'll find when I have a picture, I'm going to label it as I go. If I know that FG, this ray, has bisected angle EFH, remember if something gets bisected, it gets cut in half. I know then that this angle is congruent to this angle. Remember, that's what those marks mean. So I'm going to draw those quarter circles in there so that I know that those two things are the same. Let's keep reading. The measure of angle GFH is half times 10x minus 20. I'm going to go ahead and distribute that. Half times 10x is 5x. Half times negative 20 is negative 10. And that's the measure of angle GFH. So angle GFH is 5x minus 10. And the measure of angle EFG, so that's this angle, EFG, this one, is 3x plus 25. All right. So first we want to find x. So remember, we know we need to write an equation. We just have to figure out what that equation needs to look like. Do these two angles add up to be 90? Maybe. I don't know. There's not a right angle box. Do they add up to be 180? Clearly not. Are they equal to each other? Yes. So we know that it's been bisected. We know that means these are two equal parts. That's what those lines mean that we drew in there so we could remember. So that means I'm going to set these two expressions equal to each other. So there's my equation. 3x plus 25 is equal to 5x minus 10. Then I'm going to spend a few minutes solving that. So I'm going to add 10 to this side. So we've got 3x plus 35 equals 5x. I'm going to move my 3x over here. So we've got 35 equals 2x. And then I'm going to divide by 2. So 17.5 is equal to x. So I can go ahead and write that in this blank. All right. Again, I like this flip book because everything's laid out for me, ready to go. I need to find the measure of angle GFH. So angle GFH, that's 5x minus 10. So that's going to be 5x minus 10. I can type that in my calculator, and I get 77.5 degrees. 5x minus 10. Okay, so then we also need to do EFG. Let's think logically for a second. If GFH is 77.5 degrees, can I also assume then that EFG is 77.5? Absolutely. Okay, I know those are the same because it's been bisected. You can check it if you want to. You could plug 17.5 in for this x, and you would definitely get 77.5. Okay, we also want to know the measure of angle EFH. Let's find that one. Angle EFH. So this one is looking at putting those two angles together. I'm looking for that whole angle. So to do that, I'm going to just do two 77.5s. So the measure of angle EFH is 155 degrees. So this whole angle is 155 degrees. All right, last thing. We also want to find the measure of angle IFE. IFE. Okay, whoa, that's not part of my problem at all. So here's what we're going to do. When I look at this picture, I notice this straight line. Hopefully at this point you remember that straight line has a measure of 180 degrees. So I know that these angles all have to add up to be 180. So if this angle right here is 155, to find the rest of my straight line, I can subtract 155 from 180, and that must mean the measure of angle IFE is 25 degrees. All right, all done with 1.5. See you later.